everybody! Today I'm going to be doing my March wrap-up. I cannot believe it is already April. This year is flying by so fast. But this month, or last month, because I always get confused, I read 7 books, but one of them was an audiobook and 2 of them were graphic novels. So I read only 4 actual books. So the first one that I read was Nancy Drew Without a Trace by Carolyn Keene. This is the first book in the newer Nancy Drew series. This was a reread for me. I used to read this series back when I was a bit younger, but I wanted to start rereading them because I do really enjoy mystery books, and these ones are just really easy and great for if you're kind of in a slump, which I was, and this definitely brought me out of it. So I gave this book 3 out of 5 stars. It definitely was one of my least favorite mysteries out of all the series. I remember reading it the first time I read it and thinking that the mystery was a little bit dumb, but the other ones are really good, so I definitely want to continue on rereading the series. Then I read Dorothy Must Die by Danielle Paige. I actually buddy read this with my friend Christina from Christina's Journey, and I did do a full review of this book, so if you want to learn more of my thoughts on it, I will link it up in the corner. But I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. The next book that I read was Twilight, the graphic novel, Volume 1, and I actually gave this 4 out of 5 stars, which is a bit surprising because I don't normally like graphic novels. I find them a bit difficult to follow, but I think because I was already familiar with this series, I could understand it a bit better. I kind of had a love-hate relationship with the art. Overall, I think it's really beautiful. One of my favorite things about the art was that it's told in black and white, but then scenes like this, where he shows her what his skin looks like in the sunlight, it's in color. So I thought that was pretty cool. But then one thing I didn't like about it was that there were certain pictures where it was actually just an actual photograph, and then there were just little lines over it making it look like it was drawn, but it was actually just a picture, and I just felt like it was kind of a bit of a cop-out for the artist. But overall, I did really enjoy it. And then I read Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. If you guys have been following my channel for a while, you know I've been reading this since January. So I gave this book 2 out of 5 stars, and let me tell you about my full experience with this book. So I started off reading the actual physical copy, and I think I got about 100 or 200 pages into it, and I just did not like it. So I decided to listen to the audiobook because I thought it'd be a bit easier. And I listened to a LibriVox audiobook, which is done really badly. I mean, pretty much each chapter is read by a different narrator, and the narrators aren't that good, but I tried to push through it, and I think I listened to that for maybe another 100 pages, and then I couldn't take it again because it was just really bad narration. Sorry, no offense. So then I actually looked up on YouTube an audiobook because I figured it's an old classic, it's in the public domain, probably somebody has put it on YouTube, and I found a girl who read the whole thing, and she was a really good narrator, and I was so sad that I didn't just find her audiobook in the first place. So then I listened to that until the end, and surprisingly, literally, I loved the last 2 chapters. I don't know why, just something about the last 2 chapters I really loved, but the rest of the book I absolutely hated. And for the whole read, I was sure I was going to give it 1 star until I listened to the last 2 chapters, and I absolutely loved them. So yeah, it was a bit of a weird read. Not that the book was weird, but that how I read it was a bit weird and how I thought of it. But yeah, that was the next book that I read. Then I listened to an audiobook. It was actually a full cast drama of The Unexpected Guest by Agatha Christie. So it was only an hour long, so technically it wasn't an audiobook because it was basically just watching a movie, except it was just the audio. I still counted it towards my reading challenge, and then I also listened to the full cast drama of And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie, which I didn't count that towards my reading challenge because I thought I'm cheating too much. But I gave both of them 5 stars. Both of them completely left me guessing as to who the murderer was. I had no idea, but I'm definitely going to be reading some more Agatha Christie, and actually reading it this time, not listening to the full cast drama. Then I read The Wicked Will Rise by Danielle Paige, which is the sequel to Dorothy Must Die. Obviously this is the second book in a series, so I can't really go much into what it's about, but it kind of went outside the world of Oz that I know. I have only ever seen the movie, and I've only read the first book in the series, which follows the movie. So I don't know if future books in the original series do go to these places, but as far as I know, I think this was just made up by the author, the different like places that they went to. And another problem I had was that the like worlds, or not worlds, but like the different cities or stuff that they were going to seemed very modern, which I feel like Oz should be a bit more old-fashioned. I don't know, that's just my personal opinion. So I gave it 3 stars, but I still really enjoyed it, and I'll definitely be continuing on with the series. And then the last book that I read in March was Twilight the Graphic Novel Volume 2, which I gave 3 out of 5 stars. I think at this point I was just kind of getting bored. Ooh! My dog was laying underneath the tripod and she just stood up. Good heavens, that was terrifying. So I gave this one 3 out of 5 stars because I think I was just kind of getting bored of graphic novels at this point, even though I still did enjoy the story, and it was really fun stepping back into the world of Twilight. And I already ordered the New Moon graphic novel Volume 1 from my library. Unfortunately, they don't have Volume 2 of New Moon, which kind of stinks because I don't particularly want to buy it, but they don't have it at the library, so I'll just have to read Volume 1. But yeah, those were all of the books that I read in March. I think it was a pretty successful reading month. I think I'm finally kind of getting back into the groove of reading, because for a while I was only reading like 2 to maybe 5 books a month. So that is all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below and let me know what your favorite book was that you read in March. Mine was probably, well, I did really enjoy listening to the full cast drama of The Unexpected Guest and Then There Were None, but other than that, the actual physical book that I read was probably Dorothy Must Die was my favorite. So yeah, that is all, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!